Okay, so this is Alan here, and I want to talk about what I call classical agile learning. Now, I didn't enjoy school. I didn't enjoy school for a number of reasons, but one of them was because I have no choice. There's no consent in school. I don't choose what I learn, and no one asked me if I wanted to learn. No, I wanted to learn. I went to school. I remember being in junior infants, really excited. It took me about a month to realize that this was not going to be a fun experience. It was, and there's no consent. There's no what do you want to learn, what excites you, what interests you, and that's why bouncing around in my mind for quite a long time has been this idea of, because it annoys me that I went through this experience and I didn't like it, and now my kids are going through this experience and they don't like it either. Come on, let's face facts. They may say, how's school? Good. They're not enjoying it. That's why bouncing around in my mind has been this idea of classical agile learning. Now, the first part, classical, is about classical education, which is the trivium. Grammar, logic, and rhetoric. Okay, so grammar, logic, and rhetoric is very simple. It just means grammar is facts. What are the facts of the situation in history? It's the dates when things happened. What are the facts things happened? Logic is how does everything work together, fit together. Why did World War II happen? Why were countries formed? Why do we have a passport now and a driver's license where we never had them before? When did governments begin to form? When did tribes turn into countries? Logic. And then there's rhetoric, and rhetoric is basically just explaining what you've learned. So it could be in the form of teaching somebody else how to do something. You understand something, you teach someone else. It could be in the form of what I'm doing now, a YouTube video where you're explaining what you've learned. But you've got to be able to explain what you've learned, or you haven't learned anything. So that's the full process. And without grammar, logic, and rhetoric, grammar, logic, and rhetoric is a system for learning. So one of my problems with the current education system is that you taught a lot of facts, and facts today with the internet are the most useless things that you could know. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some use to facts, and based on facts that you will look for other facts, and facts are building blocks that kind of build on each other. So there is some use for facts, but we're in a world where there's facts everywhere. So you do need to have some facts in your head, absolutely. You need to know how the English language works. You need to know the grammar of English. Although most people leave school not knowing the grammar of English. You may need to know some dates. You may need to know that World War II happened, that World War I happened, that there was American Revolution, there was a famine in Ireland, even though I would dispute whether there was ever a famine in Ireland. But that's besides the point. Now, grammar and logic and rhetoric are a learning system. Once you understand how this works, you can learn anything. There's nothing you cannot learn based on this system. Grammar, logic, and rhetoric. What are the facts? What is the logic? How do things fit together? And can I teach some of it? Now, so that's the classical part. Classical agile learning. So that's a classical part. Agile is agile project management. So why agile fits in is agile is a system. It's a new system of project management. It's taken over from a system called waterfall, and it's worked around the idea that there's a lot of consent in it for the development team. Now it's for building software, but there's what's called a product backlog, which is all the elements that you want to build. There's a sprint backlog, which is what you're doing in the next couple of weeks, or how long your sprint is. So sprint is where we're going to spend the next few weeks doing this, what's called a sprint, and we'll have a list of items that we need to get done. Now the interesting thing about it is this sprint that you're doing, this 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long you choose your sprint is. So the development team choose their own sprint, so there's consent straight away. But not only do they choose the length of their sprint, they always also choose what they're doing in their sprint. Now they do take a look at the product backlog, and they do look at priorities, but at the end of the day, they choose what they want to do. So we're going to take this, this, this. And obviously they can't just do anything. They have to take it from the product backlog, but they're still making choices in what they want to do next. So there's consent in that. And this is where the agile comes in. I think the way education should be, there, product backlog, I think the word backlog is a very negative word. I would just call it, in the learning environment, I would call it idea list. So we have an idea list of things that you can learn. The number one, Irish history. Number two, the Greeks and Romans. How did Roman society fall? The human body. The Fibonacci sequence. What is the Fibonacci sequence and why is it important? There's lots of things around history, geography, maths, English. You know, how does the sentence structure work? What's a noun and what's a verb? What's a verb do? These kind of things. But if you can imagine an idea list or learning list where there's 200 or 300 items on it that people can learn, and then the child comes, and the reason I really like this is it's similar to the Montessori model. Montessori for very small children is you put 3 or 4 items in front of a child and see what they want to play with, and they choose. And this is similar, just for older kids, that you put, because you can't just say, hey, learn anything. You need to give them some ideas. But you can have an idea list where where you can have 50 things that you think are interesting, and it could be philosophy, could be all kinds of stuff. And they have their sprint of 2 weeks where they're going to learn something. They're going to research themselves, and we're not teaching them anything. We don't teach them. They learn themselves, but they pick out of the idea list 1 or 2 things, how many things they can take on, and they choose how many things they can take on. And they go through the process of grammar, logic, rhetoric. So they find out the facts, and this is very easy to do today. You can put an iPad or a computer in front of them, and they can find out all the facts themselves. They don't need you. They don't need a teacher to tell them the facts. They don't. In fact, they can go onto YouTube and find updated facts that a teacher can't even tell them. It's not in books anymore. So that is. And as they learn these facts and go through this process, it builds on itself. It's just like what I say, when you know facts, new facts build on top, just like bricks building a house. But as they learn these facts themselves, they'll want to learn new things. They'll be moved on to new things, and built up like the house of their education. So that's the agile part. They choose what they want to learn, and they go through each. Let's say they choose. Okay, I want to choose philosophy. And I want to choose the philosophy of Nietzsche. So I want to go out and find the facts. So the questions I have is, who was Nietzsche? What was his philosophy? Who did he teach, and what country did he live in? All these facts that you want to know. Then when you find out these facts, you find out, was he important? The why, which is the logic. And how does he affect today's society? And has he affect government? Has he affect our thinking today? That's the logic. And then once you learn that over a 2-week period, and the third part is you teach someone else. So maybe you make a YouTube video better, or you teach other kids, or you make a presentation in the class. And that's the rhetoric aspect of it. And sprint teams are 10 to 15 people. So I would see a classical agile learning environment to be 10 or 15 kids. Sprint teams have a stand-up meeting every morning, 10 minutes, where they decide, what did we do yesterday, what we're going to do today, and do we need anything? Is there anything stopping us doing what we want to do? So the teacher would sit down for 10 minutes with each group of maybe, let's say, 10 to 15 kids. So sit down with each group of 10 to 15 kids. There'd be one what I would call servant leader. Now that in Agile there is an idea that the Scrum Master is a servant leader. So we one kind of servant leader within the group. So he's a leader, but he's also there to serve everyone else, make sure everyone else can do what they need to do. And so there'll be a group of 10 to 15 kids. They sit down with the teacher, if you want to call it teacher, might be a different term for it, at the start of the day. They tell the teacher what they did yesterday, what they're planning on doing today, and if there's anything in their way, like we can't get access to the computers, we need computers today, we need whatever, we need to get to the library. So they tell the teacher what they need, and the teacher make sure they can do what they need to do in order to do the learning that they've chosen. And you do that for 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks they do a presentation, which is the rhetoric aspect of it. And that, in a nutshell, is what I call classical agile education. I haven't seen anything like this online, and it's turning the system of school system that's currently there on its head. The school system that's currently there is not fit for purpose for today, and this is how I would see. And the other thing as well is you don't put kids into classes of everyone the same age. I would see these teams of 10 to 15 kids, could be all different ages. There could be like a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they all can work together. There's no reason that they can't work together. So, and the 15-year-old could be the servant leader with smaller kids, and he could be helping them do what they need to do in order to. And it's really good for the industry as well, because people are coming out of this system know how to work with other people. They know how to help people. They know how to fight. You can just give them a task and they can find out how to do it and get it done. They're doers, people who get things done. So this is what I call classical agile learning. And I'm going to put together some plans for this. I haven't seen anyone do anything like it. I'm going to put some plans together for this. And hopefully I could do some of it during the summer. During this summer. It's 2017 now, so summer 17 I would hope to do some of this somewhere.